Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here live. It's been, I think, a couple weeks.
It's not live.
We're live from outside the White House, waiting for President Biden to get back, in there from the State of the Union address. No, we're here in Monrovia, California.
Yes.
Here with our esteemed podcast producer, Grumpy Maness.
Hey.
That's why you're because you're fasting.
No, I have to fast like starting 9:30. I haven't fasted yet.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's not like I'm getting a colonoscopy or anything.
Before we went live, John was yelling at me at the top of his lungs. This is all an act that he's putting.
You think that's yelling?
It's abusive. Huh?
You think that's yelling? You sound like my wife right now. I'll show you yelling.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, did you watch the State of the Union?
I caught like the last 15 minutes of it.
You know,
and he said, "Go get him."
Yeah, at the end about Putin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
go get him.
Yeah, right. He's like, support our troops. Go get him. It's like, dude, just take it easy, man. I mean, listen. I believe Joe Biden has the second lowest approval rating at the State of the Union in the history of presidents. He is, and you know who has him beat? You want to take any guesses?
Carter.
Bingo. 78.
Yeah, I got it.
78.
Oh, big,
78.
big.
If you asked any, this left of center person in L.A., they would have said Trump. 100%.
Well, I mean, Carter's a safe bet just because he was a one-term president.
He was. Unlikable. Well, the thing is he kind of turned it around a little bit at the end, but it was too little too late. But yeah, that was CNN reported that too, which is hilarious because, normally they're just, picking up slack for him. But yeah, State of the Union was all right. He actually did better than I thought he would in addressing certain issues. Of course, as we know, moving forward, COVID is now over. He has announced, that we are going to go back to normal. Convenient that it all happens the day before the State of the Union. Everything's political, right? So they waited to do this until now, right? It's the same thing when Biden got into office. Congress waited to do certain things.
Wait, federally they said it was over? I know in California.
Federally, so all the federal workers are going back to work. The
okay.
mask mandate. The CDC basically changed the metric. It's interesting. They got the CDC to change the metric in which people were counted to have COVID or die from COVID. So now the CDC is not counting people who are dying who have COVID but didn't die from COVID, but had it while they died, to people now who are dying directly from COVID. You know what I'm saying? So before, if you had let's say that you had a car accident, you're critical condition, and you die, but you had COVID, they would mark that as a COVID death.
Which is obviously dumb.
It is, and until
but
now,
there was a financial incentive to do that with the hospitals, right?
Of course, and even with testing facilities here in LA, I knew people who ran testing facilities, like large ones, big operations where they drive through, and basically, if you filled out, because you remember getting tested, and it would ask you if you have any symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the impression was, even if you only had like one symptom or whatever, you filled out that you had symptoms because you wanted to get tested, because then you would get priority. Well, turns out, if you wrote that you had symptoms, they automatically ping that as a positive case. So then going back, and the only reason why I'm freely talking about this now is because I'm not going to get, binged on YouTube or any other platform for saying this now, because it's essentially over. Like the CDC's changed their, the talking points.
You'll still get binged.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Oh, you know what's funny?
What?
Tomorrow, listen, dude. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I went to Target, right? I was the only person not wearing a mask at Target in LA. Everybody was wearing a mask, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, COVID's over. Biden is going to essentially say that we're moving on. All the states and city regulations are saying that they're moving on.
But in LA, so today, wasn't it today that they lifted restrictions in LA County? No?
No, that was it was like last Thursday evening.
Oh, okay.
So it's been it's been a week. At the gym, thankfully, everyone has their mask off. Except with the exception of maybe one or two people.
Oh yeah, my gym's been cool. They've been rebels for months. So I was lucky.
You don't punish health conscious people. Well, also, another thing too is, I found it the last week of working out to be exceptionally easier to work out without a mask. It sucks.
It sucks
to
so much.
lift weights with a mask on.
I have to do it when I work out in Palm Springs.
Oh my God.
And they do it. And I'm like trying,
oh my
futzing with it.
No,
the whole
because
time it's so bad.
Because even with a cloth mask, the moisture from your sweat gets in, and then it just sucks into your face while you're trying to work out. And I'm
trying to do deadlifts. I'm not trying to do like easy exercises.
Right. Like if you're lifting heavy weight, you could very easily, get lightheaded, or pass out because you can't get enough air. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's disproven that you can't get the air. Listen, I don't know what it is. It sucks to have a mask on when you work out. And I think everyone who actually works out, it's funny because the people who are going to tell me that I'm wrong are people who have never lifted a weight in their fucking life. You know what I'm saying? That's always the case. The people are telling, health experts, in terms of fitness and stuff, that they're wrong about COVID, and its severity, are the people who are like 300 pounds in their, in their attic or basement, eating, getting McDonald's and Domino's delivered every day, Not that there's anything wrong with that. We love a sponsorship from either of those companies.
Oh my God.
I'll be a spokesperson for McDonald's and Domino's, just like Biden is for Pfizer. Because he came out today, he mentioned Pfizer specifically like 10 times during his speech. He's talking about the vaccine. He said the vaccine is extremely effective on COVID. You know what? What was it? A couple days ago, a study came out, a large study. The Pfizer vaccine was only 12% effective for children. Can you look at Pfizer 12%? For children, I believe 5 to 11. And yet schools are mandating that children get this vaccine, And a lot of people aren't getting the booster. I'm not getting the booster because everyone who I know who's gotten the booster has gotten COVID subsequently a few weeks later. Or they've gotten really sick. There we go.
I got the booster. It was.
Can you
fine.
put that on the thing so that people can see?
On the thing? Wait a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, continue without supporting. Wait, here we go. Okay, so desktop. Here we go. Okay, so it's up there now.
Okay.
Let's see if I can make that bigger.
Thank you. Pfizer COVID vaccine was just 12% effective against Omicron in kids 5 to 11, study finds. See, I don't just pull shit out of my ass, okay? I read, and and it's apparent that these vaccines are no longer effective because everyone who's gotten vaccinated has gotten sick again. These new variants, and the thing is that Biden said today, in his speech, he said, well, now he's like, I want everyone to be aware that they still should go get vaccinated, yearly, like you would the flu. Here's the problem, okay, is that, and he said it himself, the vaccines for new variants will come out approximately 100 days after the discovery of the variant. Omicron only lasted a couple months, right? From the time that it was discovered in South Africa to the time that it, really just tore through the country, United States, it was like 2 months. So you have 60 days. They're going to come out with a vaccine to combat it 100 days later. It's practically useless at that point.
I don't even know what the new, I'm sure there's a name.
Yeah.
Let's see what the new variant.
There was like Delta Plus. There was like
Delta Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you get the comfort seats when you fly.
Yeah, you get what is it? Reward miles. You get points. For getting the booster. that should be the incentive. We'll give you rewards miles if you get the booster.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I'd do it for the reward miles.
Let's see, latest variant. Let's see. BA2. That hasn't caught on. You gotta get catchier than that. Like Omicron, people were talking about like Optimus Prime or whatever. Optimus Prime.
Well, you know what it is? They can't get too, they can't get too dolled up with the name now because they're announcing that COVID's over. Like they got to kind of they're throwing it under the they're brushing it under the carpet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm looking at
under the rug.
These links. These are not like, popular websites.
No, they're done reporting about it.
Yeah.
Everything has moved on to Ukraine.
Rightfully so.
Right. Listen, now they're getting inducted, I guess, is that the right word, into the EU. I don't know what that does. I'll be honest. Because I know that if Ukraine joined NATO, then it's, we're going head to head against Russia. And I'm just going to say this. Listen, if the United States gets involved with any war with any country in the world, it's utter domination. As weirdly progressive as our military is becoming with the, purple-haired nose ring people, like our military equipment and our budget is just so large. There's no comparison, and we have weapons that, the world has never even heard of that we could introduce, and we have functional equipment. It's not continually functional because you ask anyone in the military, they'll tell you to break down, all of the billions of dollars of military equipment sitting in Afghanistan. Where, Afghanistan, the Taliban have more Black Hawk helicopters in the United Kingdom. They're not going to work in a few months. Military equipment continuously has to be serviced, and the equipment has to be replaced in certain parts of the of these vehicles. So, don't count it as something. Now, if China starts buying, which I'm sure China's already in Afghanistan now, working with the Taliban, they're going to start buying this equipment, studying it, trying to make themselves. But even then, the quality isn't there.
China the wild card in all this?
What's interesting? They're seeing the capability of the economic sanctions against Russia as a red herring for them, right? Because they're not afraid of military consequences. I don't think they are. If they went into Taiwan and took it within like a week, because Taiwan is tiny compared to Ukraine, right? Russia to take over Ukraine is tens of millions of people, large landscape, huge battlefront. You got a lot of guerrilla warfare. Taiwan is an island. It's tiny, and China's not afraid, I don't think, of the military consequence if they can take it fast enough. However, their concern, I believe, has more to do with the economic sanctions, because now Russia's entire monetary system is cut off from the rest of the world, right? And all of their funds that they're trying to, put into other currencies, right? Those aren't really coming into play as much as they had hoped to. So now they're in a position where all of their financial systems, you have people trying to pay for items with Google Pay, Apple Pay, all that shut off. Credit card companies that come out of the United States and Europe, and banking systems aren't allowing normal Russian citizens to have access to funds, cutting off a huge amount. Now, Biden announced Russian flights aren't able to come into the United States, like domestic flights.
Mm-hmm.
Or international flights. But you know what I'm talking about, like commercial flights, not domestic. So, a lot going on there, and the thing is that my fear from the beginning is you're pushing Putin into a corner. And this is the problem, because for 4 years, everyone on the left was saying that Trump was befriending Putin and that he was close to them. Not a ton of evidence for that at this point. Now, in hindsight, having gone through all the investigations, congressional investigations, FBI, CIA, very inconclusive and a lot of it disproven. However, one of the things that I feel like his administration recognized is that you can't push Putin into a corner. Because if you do, he's a madman. The guy has a nuclear arsenal larger than any country in the world. Whether those, missiles or, bombs work, because they haven't been serviced in 30 years, 40 years. That's to be said. However, he's dangerous. I think that if he were backed in the corner enough, he could be dropping bombs in Berlin and Paris, and Rome, and that would cause a major, major issue. And whether or not the United States would get involved is a big problem too.
It seems like the sense I get is that Europe's kind of like they obviously don't want to see Ukraine fall,
right?
But they'll accept that if the trade-off is like they're not going to like if Russia doesn't continue further west,
right? But that's a fear too, because you have these small Baltic states and you have smaller Eastern European countries that are vulnerable. Essentially, they would fall a lot faster than Ukraine. The comparison is always, Putin and Hitler, because, Hitler took one country, right? Okay, Poland, okay, Czechoslovakia, okay, Netherlands. He started, biting off pieces of different countries all over Europe. And they're thinking that Putin might do the same thing. And how far will they go? Will it wait till he gets to France? No. The problem is Putin is faced with a big economic problem in his own country. They have, Russia has the same GDP as Florida. I think they produce like 1.3 trillion, something like that. It's incomparable, to the United States and even a lot of larger European countries. They just don't produce enough, right? What they're producing now is oil. That's their leverage. This has been my biggest criticism of Joe Biden, honestly, beyond the pandemic and all that stuff, because now we're entering the international stage, is that when Trump left office, Biden took all of our energy production and basically moved it to foreign soil, right? So we were producing a tremendous amount of oil. We also had the Keystone Pipeline that went from Canada to the United States that provided millions of barrels of oil. And now all of that's gone. And we rely heavily on oil coming from Russia, which is why you will see now that sanctions are coming in from Europe and Canada, they're not buying as much or any oil from Russia, and they're releasing oil reserves. He's at like 60 million barrels. Gas prices are going to go through the freaking roof. Our friend John here got an EV, so he's very happy about that. But
that's right.
But but listen, I started paying $50 a tank.
People need to get on that though. People like if you are in a position,
I'm at $75.
Yeah,
a tank now.
But regarding like whether it's hybrid or an electric car
or EV, the problem is that there, the supply is not meeting the demand. A and B, they're expensive for a lot of people. Now could I go and buy an EV? Yeah, but my car works. That's the thing. Like it's a good car. So, but that's the argument.
Yeah,
that's the argument that liberals are making.
I would say if you're looking at getting, like, I'm not telling people just buy a car, but right. if you need to buy a car, I would highly, highly encourage looking at an electric.
I do too. I fully endorse that. However, that's kind of what people on the left are saying. They're saying, well, listen, we shouldn't be, drilling oil, again. We, going back to drilling oil, everyone should just switch to renewable energy. Here's a problem. Germany tried doing that, and the lights went off. Everyone says it's a cliche phrase, the lights went off, but they were not able to power a lot of what they needed to in that country. And it's not just, domestic, appliances and housing. That's not the first thing to go. You need energy to produce, things in manufacturing. What do you think makes the batteries? Crude oil has a lot to do with, creating the energy to create batteries for these EVs. So, Germany then started buying a ton of oil from Russia because they can't produce it themselves, right? I believe Scandinavia has huge oil reserves too, but yeah. So now we're in a position where everyone's rolling back and putting the sanctions against Russia, and we're going to feel the pain of the gas tank. Now, the Russian people are going to feel it tremendously, I mean, they're not even exporting food. The only trade-off with China's now providing them wheat and other some other crop goods in order to subsidize what we're taking out. The stupidest thing is, have you seen on social media people pouring out their Russian vodka?
No.
Idiots. You know what I'm saying? What does that do? That is...
Yeah, you already bought it.
You already bought it. You know what I'm saying? In solidarity. Pour it out. I was like, dude, what do you do? Russian citizens burning their passports? I'm like, good luck, man. I'm like, going to the consulate and getting a new one, anytime soon, because that's not going to happen. Well, what happened to your passport? Oh, I burned it, and the video's done on Facebook. Oh, well, guess you're not going to Mexico this summer. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, Ukraine's in quite a bit of a mess. The last thing I'll say about it, a lot of propaganda being shared right now. Obviously, our, alliance and who we support is Ukraine and Zelensky, right? However, there have been so many stories coming out. The ghost of Kiev.
No. You were right the first time.
I was right the first time. It just changed. Everybody's so hot on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because it's trendy. Everyone used to say Kiev, right? And now they say Kyiv because that's Ukrainian. You know what? I told John this the other day. I'm going to go full Iran, Iraq. I'm calling it Kiev. There we go. I'm going to upset everybody. The Russians, the Ukrainians, the liberals, conservatives. Kiev.
Typical American.
Listen, man. Look, don't tell me how to say shit. Sorry. Anyway, so obviously, that's who we are supporting. But yeah, a lot of propaganda being shared through social media, and then they're turning out to be, misinformation, false, and everyone's just immediately sharing it because they want attention. They want to make it about themselves, right? So, if there's any suggestion I make, is look out for that. But okay, so this last week I had a few polls. Let's see. I had a few polls out on Instagram that people voted on.
Where can people follow you, Richard?
Or
how can they?
Richard Velzen, VIII, on Instagram. And that's pretty much the only place I'm on. Deleted my Facebook because everyone's just old and yelling at each other on there. Which is pretty typical, right, of Facebook. Mm-hmm. But Twitter's on another level. People yelling at each other. Okay, first topic that I wanted to discuss, and this one was pretty split. 44% said yes, 56% said no. A lot of voters, about 100 voters. Do you think LA is a good place to find a partner to raise a family with? Now,
and what was it? What was the
44 said yes.
Yeah.
56 said no.
56 said no.
And granted, most of these, the large majority of these people are Angelinos. And some of them have raised families in LA and said no. But I understand that sentiment. I get it because, listen, LA is a big city. It's a metropolis. It's not New York. You know what I'm saying? It's got space. However, it's extremely expensive, right? And expectations are unbelievably high. And the reason being is because LA is a metropolis and because it's the center of essentially media, right? The media capital of the country. Social media is a huge proponent to how people date and see each other and see relationships and see, pretty much how to live their lives. And so when they see on social media, that if you're a young female in LA, oh, I should be going on extravagant trips, you know what I'm saying? Paid for by these, wealthy, middle-aged men. I should be living a lavish life, being taken out to beautiful dinners and stuff like that. All while not showing them on social media. That's the best part, right?
Oh yeah, you never see the
never
sugar
see
daddy.
them. You see
Never.
You see the plates of food and the waiter with the torch and the sushi, you know what I'm saying? That's 100% always the case. And then you never see the person, you know what I'm saying? You might see hands. That's the best you get, right? But realistically speaking, LA's difficult because the expectation is so high. And a lot of women don't want to be in long-term relations or get married until they're older, until they're, in their 30s or 40s. And listen,
well, that's the catch,
That is
in terms of fertility and
correct. There is a biological clock. Everyone, and it's there. Listen, and a lot of women don't want to have kids, and I totally respect that decision. However, as one of my favorite broadcasters, Kevin Samuel, said, the largest demographic of people in this country that have issues with depression, anxiety, take drugs subsequently to combat those conditions are women over the age of 45. Middle-aged and older women in this country. And it starts from white women, Hispanic, Latino, black, And I don't think that there's any coincidence with women not having families. I'm not talking about kids, having families when they're middle-aged. Because at the end of the day, when you're older and you have, Christmas rolling around, Thanksgiving, these holidays, who do you have? And yet, you know what I've heard every time? Well, I'll just go to my sister's house. I have nieces and nephews. Okay, who's going to take care of you when you're older? When you're 70 or 80? You think your nieces and nephews are going to pay for your nursing home? Right? I don't think so. So the expectations are very set in the moment, and they're extraordinary here in LA. Now, a lot of it is caused by people who aren't actually from LA, right? They're transplants. They come from other places because they're going to make it here. And I hope they do. I hope they all get acting roles and become, the next Katy Perry or whatever they want to be. But, LA can be a good place to find somebody, in my opinion, but it's difficult. It's difficult. Because quite frankly, another thing too is if you have resources as a young man, why are you going to spend it on somebody who's not serious? Unless you're just trying to, get laid, right? Or have a good time. But at the end of the day,
I heard from my hairstylist of all people that you pay for sex one way or another, meaning oh
yeah,
just directly via prostitution or just
well, I will say this: if you do the math, one against the other, I think prostitution is probably cheaper.
Certainly more direct.
Listen, let's say that you go. Let's say hot topic. Let's say hot take. Let's say that you go on 3 dates in LA with the expectation and mindset that a lot of these young women have. Okay, and we're applying the 3-date rule. We're all familiar with the 3-date rule, right? 3 dates is when you get it in, essentially, right? If all goes well and if it's consensual, okay? Don't at me. It's not a rule. All right, it's an example. 3, okay? By that 3rd date, how much money have you spent? You know how much I spend on an average day? It's anywhere between $150 and $200 in LA. That's on the lower side because that's just the dinner operation. Now they want to go to a club or bar after, right? And now the price has gone up astronomically because, listen, you're talking about 2 people eating appetizers, entrees, drinks because they want, again, the experience. It's about posting on social media. They are out with somebody. They don't know who it is because the people who you're trying to attract on social media are like, oh, shit, somebody's taking her out. Oh, shit, somebody's taking him out. Like, I want to be involved. I want to, and they want that, right? So that, it's a conundrum. It's a fucking conundrum. And it's great. It really is. So now you spent, okay, let's just let's say $500 in 3 days. I don't know how much it is the cost of prostitute, but if it's above $500, I'd be very surprised. You know? So, I mean, you say what you want. I mean, that's why now, more than ever, services like escorting, private strippers, stripper after parties, stuff like that. And I'm not equivocating these professions with being a prostitute, because I understand that in that adult industry, they're all very, particular about how they're presented. Really, they get offended. It's a thing, Look at out of his element right here. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
This is hilarious.
Yeah. This is good content, all right? But all of those things kind of compile together. And oftentimes they do mix, and the services are mixed as well. And you know what? Like, that's why it's so popular right now. I see on social media.
Wait, prostitution's popular right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
But by means of other services. Like escorting, karaoke bars, strip. Come on. Everybody knows.
I'm learning here.
Everybody knows you can go to a strip club. And I actually don't like going to a strip club. It doesn't tickle my fancy. I feel like it's for people who have no game. I have friends who go to strip clubs. God bless you. All right? I'll pray for your fucking salvation. But, it's just, listen, I feel like if you go to a strip club, you got no game. Like, unless it's like, I don't even know. Because I feel like Vegas is kind of gross. And Portland and Atlanta is different because they're like nightclubs, right? But listen, I don't like strip clubs, but I know people who go there, and if they want to, they approach a nice young lady, and offer them some, very common. It's kind of an unspoken thing. I'm speaking it, but but that's extremely popular now. These underground karaoke bars that go after hours in LA, escorting, through social media, through Instagram. A lot of these Instagram influencer girls, unspoken truth, they have a price, and it's funny because I've seen on other podcasts, it's equivalent to how many followers they have. So the more followers they have, the more expensive it is to, take them out for the night. Mm. But sometimes you got to do the dinner and the blah, blah, blah. It's for company's sake, right? So that's a conundrum too in LA, because you have a lot of young people that just think in the moment. They're not thinking about the future, because in their mind, they're like, what's 30 years down the line for me if I'm going to be the next fucking Leonardo DiCaprio?
I want to back up though, because I think you touched on the woman's side, but like, I mean, we know plenty of guys. I mean, they're just down to date and hook up, and they're not thinking about their future. I know they don't have the same biological clock. No. They can get someone pregnant whenever. But I see that. I see it on both sides. So it's just not interested in having a family or a single relationship.
No, absolutely. And a lot of it too is the bubble that we're in is entertainment, right? I mean, maybe if we worked in a different sector of the market, other than like live performance recording, stuff like that, and events, we'd have a different perspective. But, the way that I look at it, in our industry in particular, and I think we've talked about it before, it's, the expectations for ourselves too are incredibly high. One of the things I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday about is like musicians and people in entertainment have absolutely no game. They have no game, They cannot approach. I have female friends. They say, Richard, introduce me to one of your musician friends. Like, I want to date a nice-looking, successful musician, and just, have fun. That's all I'm going to say. Keep it PG. And...
Oh, this is a PG show?
Yeah, we're over that hill, right? And I introduce my friends to my musician friends, and all of it, they're just fumbling the fucking bag, like just one after the other, and it's pathetic. I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to name names, but I went to a club last Wednesday, and it's a big Latin club. They play salsa. It's in Beverly Hills. You probably can guess it, right? And this whole community of musicians that were playing with an artist, they just played maybe a gig or done a music video, something like that. They all came out to the club. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing here? You know, good friends of mine. And I said, I'm like, you guys gonna sit in? You guys gonna hang out? They said, oh yeah, man. First set ends. I go to the bar. I go see, talk to some other people that I know there. And then all of a sudden, they all disappear. There's like one guy left. I'm like, where'd everybody go? And they said, oh, they all went to a strip club. I'm like, strip club? On a Wednesday night. You know what I'm saying? When you have all these beautiful women who would love it if you just went up and sat in and just played your your instrument, whatever, drums, I don't care. They would be all up on you. But instead, you go to a strip club. And I found out the day after that it was dead over there anyway. They're like, oh, we should have stuck around. I'm like, no shit, dude. But that's a problem too. A lot of young people just don't have game. It's because of social media. They have this head stuck in the phone. They know how to approach. It's one of two things. It's either no game, like in the sense of they're afraid to go up and talk to a girl, or they go up to and basically just like molest a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like just full on, and it's horrendous. I've seen it. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like you fucking touch women like that. Like I could never. That's the thing. But I guess it's that's kind of like what happens in a hip hop reggaeton community. Okay, second question. Should the U.S. go to war with Russia if they invade Poland or the Baltics? 64% no, 36% yes. And you could probably imagine why. People don't want to go to war. Our generation is incredibly well. First of all, our generation's really not that patriotic either. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they would, unless certain elements of their life that they enjoy a lot were interrupted, they would not want to fight for anything. The most they'll do is post on social media. So there you go. Poland, Baltics. If you guys get invaded, expect some red and white flags around their picture, and yeah, and some hashtags from us over here. Oh yeah, Joy Behar, thank you for
what did she do?
Chiming in. She said on The View. Again, I've said it before with the Whoopi incident. The show should have been shut down forever ago. But she said that this war and COVID is interrupting her 4-year trip to Italy. She wants to do 4 years in Italy, and she's like, and I couldn't do it because of COVID, and now because of this war. I mean, what am I gonna do? It's like, sit in your fucking penthouse in Manhattan, overlooking Central Park, and shut the fuck up. All right.
4 years, man.
4-year trip to Italy. Can you imagine?
Must be nice.
Oh, I wanted to plan a 4-day trip to Italy, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll fly in one day, spend 2 days in Rome or Napoli or whatever, and then fly back. Oh my God. Okay. Now this one's a good one. I think this is going to be the, real cherry on the ice cream. I'll probably post this too, in promotion. It should have been I think, but is believing in horoscopes and star signs a type of religion? Okay. So 76% of you said no, and 24% of you said yes. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of you are dead wrong, because it is a religion. And I'll tell you why. It comes from ancient Babylonian and Sumerian religions, because they were star worshippers. They believed in certain things, the shapes of stars determined certain variables. And the best part of it is for not centuries, but millennia, horoscopes and star signs and this type of belief system was used by ruling states, governments, political parties as a way to influence and basically as propaganda to their people. Because let me ask you a question. It's a serious question. Who is writing these horoscopes? When you go on Instagram, right, and you see horoscope of the day for Taurus, Pisces, whatever the fuck. Who's writing that? And why are all of them different? Right?
I just Googled who writes horoscopes.
Who writes horoscopes?
Professional astrologers.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, there is no central, what is there? Like the Ministry of Astrology, you know what I'm saying? I will tell you, when there was a Ministry of Astrology, the last time that astrology and horoscopes, star signs, was as popular as it is today was in a little-known country called Germany in the 1930s and 40s.
Bah, bah, bah.
Guess who used astrology more than any time in history except for now to influence the people that lived under him? That's right, Adolf Hitler. Can you, and maybe if you want to save that page, but go ahead and search Nazis and astrology, right? Don't type Hitler horoscope, because it will literally tell you his horoscope, like his sign. Like, who searches that? It's like, Hitler was a Pisces. What the hell, man? Like, oh my God, unbelievable. Actually, I believe he was a Taurus.
Hitler used. I'm a Taurus. Don't associate.
He was born at 420, a day after me.
Oh yeah, 420. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
There's that Vice article. There's another one underneath it, somewhere. Again, I'm fucking blind as a bat, but it has a lot of links to Yale studies, Harvard studies, stuff like that. Let me see, because I believe I did send it to myself in preparation. But yeah, so what he did, oh yeah, I'm gonna say, can I text it to you right now?
Sure.
How the Third Reich appropriated occultism, right? So, in a nutshell, what he did, and folks, you can look up this article too, because I'm gonna post it on the screen. So basically, what he did was he took all of the astrologers, like the professional astrologers that are apparently writing these bullshit horoscopes up here, right? He took those astrologers and he shut down their platforms, whether it was through newspapers or, media outlets, whatever, radio, because every day people would post stuff like they do now, like they do on social media, right? And he took all those people, he basically swept them under the rug, and then he had state-sponsored astrologers. And then these people would come out, and because here's the thing, big surprise, Hitler hated Christianity. You know why he hated Christianity? John, you want to do a guess?
I have no clue why.
Because it was invented by the Jews.
Well, it is Judeo-Christian.
It's Judeo. Well, the first whole half of pretty much most of the, I want to say the large majority of the authors of the Bible, or the vessels in which the Bible was written, were Jewish. So of course Hitler hated that. What didn't he hate? Something that had to do with his quote-unquote Aryan ancestry, right? Babylonia, Sumer, the Caucasus region. So he was able to rally this whole cause behind him of religious occultism, and basically make it a state-sponsored religion. And what he would do is he would put in place his own astrology writers to take the place of the people who he write it before, and that was propagating, pushing the idea of white supremacy, German superiority, genetic superiority, and the manifest destiny of Germany taking over the world, the Third Reich. So there you have it, folks. And I'm looking at the link now. If you could switch it, just so we could show the viewers.
I'm pulling it. It's up.
It's up. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to read past this, and it's cited on the bottom, they're like Yale and Harvard studies. This isn't like bullshit. This is actually well studied, well documented, right? And he was basically able to influence many people into believing in astrology and horoscopes in order to get his way. Am I saying that Nazis are using astrology now? No. What I am saying is that astrology is bullshit. Horoscopes are bullshit, right? And there's no scientific proof behind it, okay? And basically, it's being used to manipulate and to convince people. And this is one of the I think, the most honest reflections of the lack of purpose in young people's lives. Because why else would people buy into such a ancient, debunked bullshit ideology if they had a sense of purpose? Right? People rely on this to decide how they do everything now. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. By the way, another dating tip in LA, horoscopes, astrology on the dating profile, absolute red flag. Because you know what? The second that they learn what yours is, all of a sudden it predetermines how the date's going to go that day, how that month is going to go, right? How that year is going to transpire. If the moon is big, then you're going to have a bad date, or you're going to have great sex if it's small. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So what's your sign? Are you Taurus?
I'm an Aries.
You're an Aries.
The god of war. See? I know my stuff. Yeah, I'm on the cusp between Taurus and Aries, but I am an Aries. But, again, I've never once, somebody told me, are you fire rising, moon rising? Fire? I'm like, what the fuck? What does that even mean? And they're like, well, your sign isn't just your month and day, but actually where you were born and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
No one's ever been able to guess my sign when I meet somebody who's into that. And
you know what people say when what's your sign? I said Aries. Oh, you're such an Aries, dude. Shut the fuck. Next time I have them guess, and I'm gonna make them lie to themselves. I'm gonna be like, what are you? And I'm an Aquarius. Oh my God, you're such an Aquarius. Actually, bitch, I'm an Aries. It's like that Dave Chappelle. Gotcha, bitch.
And then you get their cocktail on your shirt.
Oh yeah, it's so offended. I mean, people treat it like a religion, And this is why I wrote to someone, because somebody was like, yeah, it's a lot of LA women. And by the way, I'm going to say this too. Ladies, if you meet a gentleman, right? Social media, Tinder, Bumble, whatever, at the bar, at the club, and they have a sense of belief in this, even 50% to the degree at which you do, he's lying. He does not give a shit about this as much as you think he does. Newsflash. He's trying to bang you. I'm sorry. I'm going to be called a misogynist for saying this. 100%. No, these guys are genuine. They're being honest. It's what they listen.
You just sounded like Burke.
Oh my God! I can't believe we're bringing him into this. No, but they are chained to the idea. I mean, that this is such a relevant thing. But listen, men have done a lot worse to get laid. Okay, so this isn't as bad as I'm making it out to seem. But realistically,
so you've never tried to brush up on it yourself to try it out one night?
A couple times. I had a very good friend. She was like, the moon is full. I recommend staying home, bro. This is a friend too. I'm not even trying to do that with her. She was like, I would just stay home, light some candles, and meditate. And recharge your crystals. By the way, if you're fucking putting your rocks in water and letting the moon charge them, you need to do some revaluation. Okay, that is the single-handed dumbest thing. Like crystal healing. You know about this? Wearing crystals and shit?
Yeah, a little
and
bit.
Having crystals in your room like it's going to protect you.
What about the thing where you it's
sage?
Sage, that's it. Sage.
Ceremonial sage is interesting because it's like, you cannot convince me that you're not trying to do a religious ceremony. And this is what, because a lot of people push back on this on social media from me when I put this poll out, without having said my stance. But I said, listen, I believe that it is a religion because it's something that's guiding your life. You're basically you're worshiping it, in certain aspects of it. You're doing religious rituals like sage burning, crystal charging, meditating. All of these things are combined in nearly every religion, right? That's what makes a religion is ritual and belief, and but as long as you believe in it, as you would what's a medicine, that like a placebo, right? Then it might actually come true in your own life, because you can point to that, and say, I won $100 lottery today on my scratch off, and it's because it's the 13th day of June, and my horoscopes. You can justify things in your mind, right?
Yeah. Do you believe in karma?
No.
I was curious.
That's also bullshit.
Ah, okay.
That's also bullshit, because
you're just gusts in the wind. What you can do whatever the fuck you want, and
no, because there are actual consequences to your actions. Like if you do something bad, the idea is that you will face consequences for it. If you do something good, you will face good consequences. That's the idea, is that these things happen in relation to what you do at the moment or in the near or late future. Every action has a consequence. However, I don't think it's like if I step on on my dog's foot, in 6 years somebody's gonna kill my daughter. You know what I'm saying? That's retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like people in their mind, they think, like again, you have to really stretch to get these two things to line. Like, oh man, this guy cheated on his math test, and like he ended up doing drugs in high school or something. Like you have to see consequences from actions as they happen, day by day, month by, like you actually have to have a web connecting those things. You can't say that one thing is correlated to another that has nothing to do with each other. I think that's what karma is at the end of the day. It's like, are things going to bite you in the ass? Yes, because it's a direct consequence of your actions. That, if you want to ascribe to karma, I'm willing to, work with that. But if it's,
What about, like, I feel like this is kind of related, like, the universe. I feel like karma and universe tend to be synonymous, like, that the abundance of the universe, and that if you put out good deeds or energy or whatever, that you get returned in return.
I will say this. Okay, so I had a teacher in high school who always used to say the universe works, right? That I attribute to a belief, an optimistic belief system, right? Now, I can think that. I can go about my life thinking that good deeds that I do will come back, that I'm basically, again, this is why it's part of religion, because listen, in Christianity you do things selflessly, needlessly, and I'm sure in other religions you do too, in order to kind of gain stock, right? But you do it not because you're doing it to gain stock. You're doing it because it's the way of religion and blah blah blah. But inevitably what you do is find favorability with God by doing better things, right? Or good things, as much as you can. That's a sense of idealism. I don't know if there's actual realistic evidence to support the fact that that is a reality. However, I would like to think that that's the case. But do I believe in it like it's absolute? No. I don't see the evidence. And I will await all of the lovely viewers to provide me with said evidence, Because if you can't, it's a religion. It's a belief system. That's my point. I am kind of knocking you guys on it if you believe in it, out of love and, just sheer haughtiness. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's a belief system. If you believe in it, all right, no sweat off my balls.
Gross.
That's why I like saying that instead of off my back. Yeah. Well, sweaty back is kind of gross too. You know what
it's all gross.
Sweat is not.
No.
There's very few times that
I'm an above average sweater, unfortunately.
Me too. But it's a good thing. I feel like you're getting the toxins out.
The alcohol.
Yeah.
It's definitely the alcohol.
It's the alcohol. You're sweating out the alcohol and the fucking, oh my God, just the shame from the night before. The cringy moments. But
hey, speak for yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I am absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on astrology. I hope I didn't offend anyone too much. Actually, I don't care, but I'm just saying that to save your feelings. And it's all stemmed from 2/22/22, which again is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like the day. Listen, every day is unique. There will only ever be one of every day. Am I right or am I wrong?
There's
just because it's a 2 and a 2. This is like, you remember like around like maybe 2006, 6 around there. There used to be all these YouTube. I want to say like 5, 6. There used to be all these YouTube videos coming out about how the end of the world was going to be 2012. You remember this because of the Mayan calendar?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was a child, like a teenager. And I believed that shit. So much for like, dude, existential crisis, bro. My first like ever like what do you call it? My first time ever dealing with anxiety was watching those videos.
Really?
I was like, I'm gonna die like right after I graduate from high school. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like videos of like epic music and like this planet Nibiru was gonna fucking fly, like come into Earth's orbit, and it's like
man, it did do a number on you,
dude.
Man,
I was freaked out.
I was not. I don't think I was fazed by that.
Well, you're 10 years older than me, dude. I mean, you probably saw the way that I'm looking at
I am
things,
much wiser than you.
The way that you would look at that information now, right? Is how I'm looking at it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, or how I'm looking at it now, that's how you're looking at it then. Sorry. But I was a kid, and I saw that. I was like, oh my God. I remember going to church on Sunday, and I was telling the older kids, I'm like, the world's, and they looked at me like I was an absolute, like, just an ape. You know what I'm saying? like an orangutan. Like, I just learned how to count with my fingers, So, yeah. But that's what I gather. It's like, you have to believe in something, right? At the end of the day, you can't believe. It's very difficult in my mind to actually believe in nothing, right?
Yeah, that's my sense. I don't meet any like. Even atheism is, I feel like, is a religion in a way. Because you're just like such an asshole about talking about it.
You are. Well, here's the thing. Well, because it's almost like a worship of self, right? Because if you have no God, you have no higher being, right? It's getting philosophical now. Who do you have to believe in as being real than yourself? Because you are then projecting reality, right? Rather than somebody, or something having created it and brought you into this world. So then you're like, well, I'm just what do you call it? A product of my own imagination, essentially, which was trending on Twitter today. Coincidentally, there was this scientist or something who said that reality is a part of it's just an imagination, and maybe it is. Who knows? But so yeah, I mean, it all comes down to this. Listen, if you believe in it, okay, but like. Listen, if you need a sense of purpose, I suggest you don't find it from astrology because it will lead you down a rabbit hole of torment.
What do you recommend?
The Holy Bible. Jesus Christ is our
Lord
and Savior.
Yeah.
No, you see, here's the thing. I'm not going to push Christianity on anybody. I'm not going to push any religion on anybody. I think people should make the choice for themselves, but at the end of the day, pick one that doesn't. I mean, listen, the reason why astrology does not work is because it depends on daily affirmations of information that is produced seemingly out of thin fucking air, dude. Whereas other religion, organized religion, has fundamental truths that are grounded in rituals and literature for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And the tenets that you gain from them hopefully good, you take with you. However, in astrology, it's basically just your day is decided on some 400-pound mammoth in their basement who just spends all day writing
if it's the same person
astrology.
who does what if it's the same person who does the fortune cookies?
I wouldn't be surprised, because you get that piece of paper, and okay, John, can you pull up my my astrology? April 19th,
Okay.
astrology, and this is exactly my point. And you almost have to turn your brain off to not see it, right?
Okay, let's see. Let's go here. Let's see.
Horoscope.
Deep sense of their own spiritual significance and has the ability to do great things, Richard.
That's okay. That's true. However, I'm a believer. How's the song go? And I saw her face.
Yeah.
I used to love that song. No, can you search horoscope? I want to see today what my horoscope is.
Okay. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. I meant to say horoscope.
Okay. I guess this zodiac thing, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Go down the list because they're all going to be different. That's the point. Watch. Oh my God, what is that? Like 6 paragraphs? You see, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody's writing literature. Look at that.
Let's see.
With planets.
The helpers among Aries, those born on the 19th of April, have a tendency to feel the vibe of their surroundings. Oh, they're based in LA.
Yeah, you
Whoever
see.
wrote this.
Yeah.
Much more than their other.
You all fucking grumpy, and I was like, oh my God, you're ruining my. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Vibe of their surroundings much more than the representatives of their sign. They will know what others try to cover up, and they must build enough trust in their own instincts and emotion. What the hell?
That's so vague. It's meaningless. It's just like gutter. You know what I bet they do? I bet that was June 14th, 1999. You know what I'm saying? There's like recycling. Somebody's running these websites, running these social media pages, and just goofing everybody. Right? Are you looking yours up now?
Yeah, of course. Where am I? I got to go to the 10th. This is going to be... Hold on. I'll back up. And then we'll wrap up.
No. But right before. Go one down. No. In the Google search.
Wait, back here?
Yeah. Go one down. Horoscope.
This one?
No, because it has to be current, 2022.
Oh.
Oh, no. That's fine. But no. Oh, you know what you got to do? You got to put Aries horoscope. Okay. You have to put Aries horoscope today.
Aries horoscope today.
Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Ah.
You see now? Okay. Now you have all these media outlets up there.
Horoscope.com. That's
Yes.
got to be legit.
Okay.
There we go. Today. Oh, let's see. Let me zoom in. Today could be a strange day where money is concerned, Aries. You might not be sure exactly where you stand financially, so it might be a good idea to get all your records together.
Oh my God!
Because you know what, it is tax season.
I was gonna say
this is a good idea.
This is tax propaganda. I'm calling it right now. This is fucking the IRS has bought out horoscopes.com for the next 2 months.
Okay, let me go to Taurus. That's me.
My finances are okay. They're great. So let's see.
Or are they okay or great?
They're great.
Okay, there you go.
We'll see. We'll see tax season. How we're looking.
Okay, for me, unsafe conditions could exist around the house, Taurus, which may result in accidents if they're not rectified. Some may not be readily apparent, so warn family members to be careful. This isn't a good day to do any heavy work around the home. Okay, that works for me.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
It's so vague. Like, they're never specific. And you know what? None of these people have predicted shit, too. All right? Because part of it is, like, they know what's going to happen that day, right? And how is it that every person with that sign is somehow, like, enumerated with this
My today's star rating, so not a good sex day for me. It's success. 4 out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5 stars. Wow.
What the hell?
Oh, look at that. Today's matches for love, right? Pisces.
Pisces, where you at?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Career. Yeah, come on, man. Like every day. Okay, you're supposed to hang out with your Virgo friends today, and in your career, you're only supposed to work with Libras. You know, if people subscribe to this shit, like they actually believed it, this world would be fucked. All right, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe not any more fucked than.
It's pretty fucked right now. We're doing pretty good at fucking it up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's because of astrology. Thanks for ruining Ukraine, astrologists. Anyway, so all right, let's look yours up. Oh wait, you already. Okay.
Yeah, this is mine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, the last thing we'll do is let's go back to the Google search, right, and go one down because I want to see what the next person says. You know.
Oh. Okay.
What the next
I got you.
Genius, the high priest of star sign astrology and reading the stars.
Hindu. Wait, how do you say that? Hindustan Times.
Okay.
I'm probably saying that wrong. But,
Hindustan. I was like Hindu, like Pakistan.
Oh, okay. So, dear Aries, right now is a good time to complete pending professional assignments. Your self-confidence is likely to grow and help you overcome challenges.
You know what's funny? You could say that every fucking day of the year. And for a moment, you read that and you're like, oh my God, it's speaking to me. Because, of course, I could do that. I have things I got to do. Oh my God.
I got shit to do.
I got shit. Everyone's got shit to do. You know? And yes, you will feel satisfied after completing tasks. Okay? You don't need an astrologer. But what I'm surprised by is that person didn't have the same star interpretation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the other person. And here's the thing. Do these astrologers, is it a qualification for these horoscopes to sit outside all night and look at the stars to figure this shit out? How do they know? How do they know? All right, let's read this last one.
When the vibrant sun in your soulful 12th house harmonizes with progressive Uranus in your... Wait. This isn't even... Okay, Uranus in your resources zone today? Is this even English? A mix of intuitive faith and grounded in... Wait, what's that word?
This sounds like every person in Silver Lake when they speak.
This focus on what you're aiming to accomplish and then envision it clearly in your mind's eyes. That next, try to experience with your 5 senses what it'll be like to achieve this goal.
John,
I'm
this
done.
sounds like every person in Silver Lake when they speak. They say like buzzwords, you know, that make no fucking sense, but they all say it because it's like trendy. Anyway,
progress in Uranus.
Yeah, and we leave you that progress in your anus, everyone. Astrology 101. Thank you all for tuning in. Anything else? We got any things?
Subscribe on the YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube. Anything to plug? You got any gigs coming up? You got any things doing?
Just playing around town. At Toca Madera and Sparrow downtown.
There we go.
Toca Wednesdays, Sparrow Thursdays.
All right, check out John's Instagram at John Maness, right?
Yeah.
And then mine at Richard Velzen, VII. We will see you next week. Have a good night.